Okay, we're going to start, we'll just start in the front of the studio and work our way around. So the first thing I want to point out is this stuff right here. A lot of you recognize this. This is acoustic tile. Use it to acoustically treat a room, help soak up some of your frequencies. And I got this for exactly free. Okay, and this is a good story about the power of good things happen to you in life if you're not a jackass, or if you're inquisitive and you talk to people and you get to know people and you're always networking and always again just staying inquisitive, staying curious about things. I knew a guy who had his own studio, and he had a bunch of this all over the walls. And this stuff's really expensive. So I asked him about it. I said, wow, that's pretty impressive. Don't mind me asking, how much did you pay for that? And he said, oh, I got it for free. And I was, okay, you have my attention. Long story short, there's a company in another town. They manufacture this stuff to sell. But they have seconds. They have test runs that don't meet their quality control standards. And so they have great big piles of it outside of their facility. And you can basically go and have at the pile that they're going to throw away anyway. So that's what I did. I loaded up my pickup truck, I don't know how many times, and hauled a bunch of this stuff away. Again, this is something that I wouldn't have known about if I hadn't been curious, if I hadn't been inquisitive, if I hadn't started asking questions, if I just didn't know people, and you always do that. I don't care what to say about the goddamn cat. Curiosity is your best friend if you want to get shit done. Okay, so moving on here, you can see I've kind of got these hippy-dippy boho tapestries on the walls, covering the windows, covering the doors. Look, we're talking about musicians, okay, and we like to set the mood. And so it also deflects attention from these god-awful teal walls or whatever color that is, that baby shit brown or whatever. Again, sets the mood. You can get them on Amazon anywhere from like $9 to $15. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get free shipping, okay? And again, it helps set the mood. And for like $100, it covers a large area, and it makes things, gussies things up a little bit. This stuff right here, almost forgot. I cannot forget this stuff. This was an awesome find. This is Rockwool, okay? This is phenomenal for sound absorption. You can, it's a form of insulation, and if you've ever worked with like fiberglass insulation, it's not anything nearly as bad as that. You know, if you work with fiberglass insulation, at the end of the day, it feels like you've been attacked by a cactus. This stuff is not anything like that, and you can cut it to size, and you can fit it in a space, and it will hold itself in place with its own tension. So what I've got here, I'll show you. You can see on the window, got the acoustic tiles. And behind that, I've got these 3-inch thick pieces of the Rockwool, and then I've got, there's an air gap, because you have to have the air gap, and then the window. So it does a really good job of sound absorption. Now, is it perfect? No. I've got a main thoroughfare out here, and so some dude rolls by in his 302 Mustang. You're going to hear it, okay? But I think with mic placement and the fact that we play so goddamn loud, I think that we can mitigate that as far as the noise coming off the road. It won't be a problem. So moving on here, again, still a work of progress. Got a lot of stuff laying around. Okay, pay respects to Jimmy here. And this is a lot of fun right here. This is the band room. Okay, this is where the band hangs out, and or will hang out. And everything in this room is just junk that I've held on for, in some cases, decades. I got my old first Marshall amp there, and again, just stuff I held on to, stuff that the previous tenant left behind. An IKEA couch. I mean, that doesn't cost, it hardly costs anything for this. I get more of the tapestries. Got more of the acoustic tile up on the walls here. I've got neighbors to that side, so hopefully this will help soak up some of what we're doing from the drums and keep them happy. Got a little light reading here, page through that, get you in the mood if you're going to make some bone-crushing rock and roll. But again, this is just stuff that I've had, and it didn't cost anything to bring it here. Got you want a little heavier reading, you can read that, I suppose. This right here, this ridiculous chair, it's awesome. This actually used to belong to my dad. My dad was like the most level-headed, practical man ever. But one day he was like at a flea market or something and saw this chair and just decided he had to have it. So, but now we've got it here, and it helps set the vibe, whatever that vibe is. So moving on, we got the drum kit, Pearl drum kit. You know, I dropped a little money on this, but again, it's a used kit, and actually I got it for less than really what it was worth because the guy just wanted to get rid of it, okay? Always beat the bushes. I think I got this in Craigslist or something. Always be on the lookout. I went through, you know, again, months and months and months of looking, passing over things, just being patient, waiting till I saw the thing that we needed for the right price, and it pays off. It always pays off. So got some more shelving here with some spare equipment. Again, if you're a musician, you never throw anything away ever. Some more of the paneling, the acoustic tiles here. I was painting some of the tiles, but I'm lazy. So I instead got some of this black cloth, black material. You can buy it in bolts. It doesn't cost a whole lot. Buy it in bolts and put it over there. And it looks cool. It's black. So, you know, black is always cool when you're talking rock and roll. So this is where we make some more noise. And again, yet another object lesson in getting the job done with the right tools and not having to break the bank doing it. This is an Epiphone Dot. It is a really, really good guitar, and it's also, I think, the least amount of money I've ever paid for a brand new guitar. It would cost me like $260. And it sounds really good. Now, does it sound as good as a Gibson ES335? No, but guess what? It didn't cost me $3,000 either. So I can get a really good guitar sound without dropping, you know, a couple of mortgage payments on something. This Marshall amp, the DSL, another good example of finding something that will get the job done and not having to break the bank. This is an amp that Marshall makes, but they manufacture it overseas, okay? But I trust Marshall, I trust their quality control, and it sounds awesome. It'll saw your frickin' head off. And it doesn't cost as much as a British-made Marshall. So, you know, down the road, yeah, I'll get you know, I'll drop some money on a quote-unquote real Marshall. But in the meantime, this thing sounds awesome, and it didn't cost me as much. Same thing with that cabinet. I've got a Marshall cab, but I'm just experimenting with this Epiphone one to see what it sounds like. A friend gave it to me for free like 5 years ago. I just held on to it. I didn't even need it, but I mean, well, yeah, it's a free cab. Why pass it up? I call this my R2 unit. This is just a little mobile cart that's, I've got, you know, guitar string cleaner and tools and just loose things that I need, and I can wheel that around the studio. Got a little orange tiny tear there for some texture from different things we'll do. More of the panel, and this is really where it comes in handy, because if you want to talk about reflective surfaces, check this monstrosity out. This is the furnace. And so I put up these panels. I brought some shelving from home and put it in front of the furnace, and then stacked these tiles here and kind of you know, cut that corner off where the furnace is at, and that'll eliminate that headache as far as any sort of you know, acoustics go. Got some more of the Rockwool right here. This is just, you know, where the air conditioner is at. There's just a basically a piece of plywood to the outside, and I thought, well, I'll throw some of that up. Hopefully that'll absorb some of what we're doing in here and keep the neighbors happy. Moving on, got another tapestry, and pay your respects here. You know, can't just walk away from that. Over here, got the my recording and mixing desk, and it's in very close proximity to the drums, as you can see here. And I'm going to see if this works or not. This is, again, making compromises and putting things where they're most effective. It might end up having to move it as far as, you know, getting reflections off the desk if that's a problem. But first, I'm going to see what the mics tell us, and if it works, I'm going to leave it there, and if not, we'll work through that problem. But this is the space we have to use, and this is what we're going to do. So that's it so far, and I'm all talked out. So stay tuned, and we'll have some more progress reports for you. And you can see here, fast forward a couple of weeks later, we also got our hands on some carpet remnants that we just threw down. Again, didn't spend a lot of money on them, and those helped soak up those reflections off the floor, but we still had a nice live sound to the room that's really cool for a rock band. And as you can see, we turned off the overhead lights, got some LEDs and some just indirect lighting, and created a really, really cool environment for the band to record in. Really helped set the mood. So I'm hoping that some of these ideas you saw in this video might help you with your own home studio, your own recording space. And that's about it for now. And take it easy.